Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hi, folks. I'm Arthur Thompson, and I lead developer relations for Firebase.
And I'm Seba, I lead engineering for Firebase.
Thank you for joining us. Today, we're going to take a look at how Firebase can help you accelerate your development.
Oh, man, I'm so excited. Are you excited?
I am very excited.
Are you all excited? All right, let's go. So at Cloud Next 2026, we are committed to help you build and scale with more speed, security, and flexibility than ever before. Whether you're building the next viral mobile app or website, and regardless who's writing the code, humans or agents, we want to make sure that Firebase gives you all the tools you need for client development and seamless access to all the power of Cloud Platform. With that, we are making services such as Cloud SQL, Firestore, and Agent Platform easier to integrate with your apps, and with services such as Firebase phone number verification, more secure. Let's dig in. Raise your hand if you have used Firebase NoSQL database. Great. Raise your hand if you have used Firebase's SQL option. All right. Raise your hand if you didn't know that Firebase had a SQL option. Arthur, come on. Raise your hand.
I knew, but honestly, sometimes I would forget. I stumble upon it, and then it's like finding money in my pockets, you know?
Oh, man, like after today, it's not just finding money. You're going to find the whole ATM in your pocket. So a year ago, we announced general availability for Firebase Data Connect, which is Firebase's SQL option, if you didn't know about it. Today, we are evolving Data Connect into an even stronger SQL option, Firebase SQL Connect.
Woo!
Firebase SQL Connect packs all the incredible features we have in Firebase Data Connect, such as strongly typed SDKs, as well as secure serverless access to Cloud SQL Postgres, and a few more things I'd love to share with you today. The first one is custom resolvers. Custom resolvers lets you expand Firebase SQL Connect into other data sources. What's more, it also gives you a strongly typed SDKs and the same security for accessing that data. Offline. With offline cache, you make sure that your applications continue being responsive, even in situations where you have no connectivity or low connectivity. Native SQL support. This is a good one. With native SQL support, you can use the whole expressiveness of SQL to write very complex queries and mutations, and also get access to all the tools and extensions that are available in Postgres. And last but not least, real time.
Woo.
With real time, you can turn your SQL data or your relational data into responsive live applications. Let's dig in. Let's go to the laptop really quick. Can we switch to the laptop? There you go. So here we built a very fun application. It's an emoji stock exchange or an emoji exchange. A few things. So you have a list of emojis, a dashboard of emojis in the center. I can buy and sell them. You have a ticker showing some news. And here we have an admin panel that we're going to use to run some fun things through the presentation. I have this open with two different users. On the left, I have my personal account. On the right, I have my corporate account. And we're going to see how things interact with each other. So the dynamics of the emoji exchange is like the dynamics of a stock exchange. When someone buys, the price goes up. When someone sells, the prices go down. That's generally how exchange works. So to begin with, I'm going to buy a few ghosts. Right? I'm going to buy 3 ghosts on this side. I don't have real-time implemented or nothing implemented necessarily here. So I buy 3 ghosts. Now I own 8 of them. Nothing necessarily refreshed here. Price looks the same. So when I hit the refresh button, I can see how the price of goats went up. But nothing happened on this side. So I refresh on this side. OK, now things are matching. This is so antiquated, right? Like, we don't want our applications to work this way. So let's make some changes and show some of the new things we introduced here. So the first thing I wanted to show you is a new method. So the way I'm running that dashboard is I'm calling the execute query. And the query I have defined it here. As you can see, it's pretty simple. It's just, I list all the emojis. I connect that with events, with the user, to bring how many I own and whatnot. And the way I invoke that query is using the execute query. But today, we're introducing something new. That's a subscribe method. Make sure, there you go. The subscribe method. So with the subscribe method, what happens is that the client establishes a real-time streaming with the backend. So when the query gets recached by the backend, stream goes out to all the clients, and they all get refreshed. So now I have this here. Let's see that in action. Yep. Back to the application. All right, I'm going to buy 4 more of this. OK, nothing happened. But when I hit refresh here, I can see the price change. Oh, sorry, I need to refresh both sides. Let's do that again. Buy a few, nothing happened. But when I hit refresh here, I can see the price changing. And automatically, that refreshes on the other side. And why that happened? Because when I hit refresh on the left, the server said, hey, this query has changed. So now I'm going to stream to all the clients that the query has changed. And the screen refreshes on the right as well. That's a little bit better. But I know we can do better here. So let's go back to my editor, wherever I left it. There it is. Let's modify that query. Something else we introduced is a new directive called refresh. And what I can do with refresh is basically tell the server that every time the buy stock mutation happens, or every time for example, the sell stock mutation happens, refresh the query. Right, rerun the query. So let's save this. Let's deploy it to the server. Let's give it a second. Going through the magic. All right, come on. Almost there. All right, so back to the application. I'm going to refresh both sides so I don't trip again. And I'm going to buy another 3. So look at the price on the right. It's $8.38. On the left, it's $38. I buy, and boom. No screen refresh. Complete real time. Pretty cool, right? All right, let's go on to the next thing I wanted to show you. I'm going to move as fast as I can. So we built this dashboard. Right? This dashboard basically shows you all the trades that are happening nearby the user have login. As you can imagine, writing this in GQL or GraphQL and using Data Connect native language would have been really hard to do. But now with native SQL, I can write the query using, for example, the Postgres GIS extension. So as you can see here, I can use Postgres extensions for longitude and latitude. I can use geographic distance and whatnot. And the last thing I wanted to show you is custom resolvers. So as I said, with custom resolvers, you can basically extend Data Connect to other data sources. We give you some tooling. So you can do Firebase init Data Connect resolver init data connect resolver, and that's going to generate a few things for you. The first thing is going to generate, let's run that. I know we're not going to run that, so we don't run out of time. The first thing is going to generate for you is a schema, right? That's going to be the schema for your resolver. The second thing it's going to do for you is going to stub out a cloud function. That cloud function is the one that's going to be holding all the logic to invoke and to retrieve data from your external data source that's not SQL. And the third thing it's going to do is that it's going to add that schema to and that cloud function to your data connect connector. So data connect knows when you invoke that resolver where to go and how to retrieve the data. So let's turn that into a real example. Let's say I want to bring, on the same data connect query, I'm going to bring real-time pricing coming from SQL, as well as pre-calculated metrics coming from, let's say, BigQuery. For that, I'm going to create a resolver. I'm going to call it Get Asset Analytics. I'm going to define the schemas you can see on the screen. Basically, the query, which is Get Asset Analytics. That's how I'm going to invoke my custom resolver. And the schema with all the data I want to bring from BigQuery. I'm going to write a function which basically calls into BigQuery to retrieve the data for that particular emoji. And then, last but not least, I'm going to call that custom resolver that I just defined from within a query. So you can see in this query, I'm doing two things. I'm retrieving data from SQL about emoji. I'm also calling my custom resolvers to bring data from BigQuery. And the last thing I have to make is just wire that up in my front end. So I have my handle analytics method here. I'm executing basically through the generated SDK, I'm calling into data connect. I'm retrieving the data, both from SQL and BigQuery at the same time. And then I'm just using it. And as you can see here, pricing is coming from the emoji object, which is SQL, whereas the rest of the metrics are coming from BigQuery. And if we execute that, I'm going to go back to my home. I'm going to hit here, pick the emoji, pick the fire emoji that we all like, get analytics, and boom. Real-time data coming from SQL with the same invocation metrics, pre-calculated metrics coming from BigQuery. Imagine the power of this, right? All right, let's go back to slides.
That is a lot of good database goodness. Could there be any more database goodness?
In fact, they are.
Oh, tell me.
We are not that well, whereas sometimes SQL is the best option for your application. Sometimes NoSQL is the best option to solve for the things you want to build, right? And with that, we continue expanding Firestore and Firestore capabilities, specifically in Firestore Enterprise Edition. Today, I'm happy to share that Pipeline Queries is going GA, right? With Pipeline Queries, we reimagine our query engine to help you build applications more efficiently. And I want to share some features we are launching. The first one is subqueries. With subqueries, you can combine data from multiple documents and collections to create very expressive, powerful data query statements. As you can see in this example, for example, I'm bringing all the restaurants that that serve pizza, whose ratings are above 4.5 stars. The next one is data manipulation language, or DML. With DML, you can collapse multiple actions within one statement to modify your pipelines. So for example, when a user leaves your application, hopefully never, you can delete all the user-generating content in one statement. Or you can run an update in your whole collection of books, creating a composite field. GeoSearch.
Woo!
With GeoSearch, you can use expressiveness and methods like longitude and latitude, geopoints, geodistance to query your collection of documents without using any extension. It's here, folks. It's here. Today, we are announcing full-text search. With full-text search, you can basically use natively within Firestore capabilities to search for exact words, for exact phrases, or even for semantic matches. You don't need to install extensions anymore, and you don't need to use any external service anymore. Very, very good. Let's give a round of applause to full-text search.
So much database goodness. Firebase accelerates the way that you or your agents do development. But Firebase also helps you bring AI experiences to the users of your application. Raise your hand if you have or have thought of adding an AI feature to your application. I know I have. These features can be engaging, but doing them right can be non-trivial. Firebase AI Logic supports Gemini's ability to query with text, images, PDFs, video, and audio. It enables delightful AI experiences for users, making it simple to implement things like chat, image generation. You can even easily use tools and streaming input and output. Also, protecting your Gemini resources is one of the main reasons you would want to use Firebase AI Logic. Server prompt templates protect against exposing your prompts client-side. Integrations with Firebase App Check prevents non-application access to your models. And built-in user rate limits protect against a few users using up all of your app's AI quota. Gemini models have continued to advance, and Firebase AI Logic has expanded its capabilities to ensure that your apps can take full advantage of what Gemini has to offer. Capabilities like auto function calling and JSON mapping can hugely reduce the amount of boilerplate that your apps have to produce. Even more protection against abuse with things like template-only mode, which enforces that only the server-side templates or the server-side prompts are able to be executed on your resources. And finally, my personal favorite, hybrid inference. Supported across iOS, which is coming soon, Android, and web. With Firebase AI Logic hybrid inference, you can implement AI features that run on device if it's available and fall back to the cloud if necessary. Has anyone here, or does anyone here have to do expense reports when they get back home? I certainly have to do them.
I saw you fighting a very, very shady receipt this morning.
It was a, to be fair, it was a very important sandwich, and so I really had to get those details in. So here we have a receipt demo, or a receipt scanning demo, and given that receipts are quite standard, we may not need to use our precious tokens from the cloud to extract things like receipt data. As you can see in this demo, the business name as well as the final cost of the receipt are extracted, and none of this data has to go to the cloud. It's all happening on device. Sorry. I want to call your attention to the prefer on-device option that's there. There are different options for that, so you can prefer on-device, define on-device only, prefer in the cloud, and so on, so that you can customize Firebase AI Logic to correspond to the way that you want your app to handle or prioritize which models they want to use for particular situations.
All right, so historically, enterprises have struggled to manage their Firebase deployments alongside the rest of their cloud infrastructure. For that, we are integrating Firebase with Application Design Center. Application Design Center gives you a unified model to manage or deploy your client app resources, such as Firestore, AppCheck, Auth, and AI Logic, alongside the rest of your cloud infrastructure. Application Design Center natively integrates with AppHub, Cloud Hub, and Gemini Cloud Assist. You can start using this integration today. Oh man, this is a good one. I'm excited about this one. So, as you know, Firebase, Flutter, and Dart is a match made in heaven, right? Do we have Flutter developers in the room? Any Flutter developers? Just a very few. Okay, just go tell your other Flutter developer friends. Today, we're introducing Dart support for Firebase Cloud Functions.
Woo!
As an experimental release, you can use Dart to write your functions, and now you can write your client applications and your server-side code without switching languages. I'm very excited about this.
We do love Flutter developers at Firebase. It's a match made in heaven, as Seba said.
Well, actually, you know, Flutter, Dart, and Firebase is the only relation in my life that lets me code over the weekends.
Nice. Another passion of Firebase is authentication. Most, if not all, apps need some type of authentication. And SMS is one of those elements of the authentication story. SMS works, but we thought we could do better. So last year, we introduced Firebase phone number verification, a fast and secure way to verify users' phone numbers. Phone number verification, or FPNV for short, provides several benefits over SMS alone, starting with the fact that no SMS messages are sent, which eliminates SMS phishing. FPNV works over any internet connection, cellular, Wi-Fi, wired, or hotspot, allowing developers to reach any connected user. Carriers are the source of truth. Your app is able to get the phone number directly from the carrier via the carrier's SIM. Phone number verification can be used as a standalone or with an ID provider. Sometimes, like you'll see shortly, a phone number verification is all that you need. Other times, you want to use that phone number to actually create an account and have the user sign in. Both of these scenarios are supported by phone number verification. As of today, we have close to 10 carriers around the world, and we're onboarding more all the time. We're also launching a new SIM-free testing mode, which reduces friction when developing FPNV features. Since we're all in Vegas, I thought it would be helpful for me to demo reserving a table for dinner. I think we all have to do that. Anybody eating tonight? Okay. In this case, so can we switch to the phone? All right, so in this case, let me go ahead and try this out. Hi, I'm trying to reserve a table for dinner tonight. Can you help me?
Certainly, I can assist you with that. To show you what's available, what type of cuisine are you looking for?
We're in the mood for Mexican.
Perfect. I have Cactus Cantina available. Are you interested in booking there?
That sounds great. Let's do it.
Great. What name should the reservation be under, and for what date, time, and party size?
Let's go with Seba, since he'll be paying. Tonight at 8 sounds good. So in this case, we see that the app launches the verification pop-up, And so as long as I accept the application.
That's right. The phone verification pop-up should now be on your screen. Once verified, the booking will be confirmed.
Okay, let's try that.
Yes, once you confirm the verification, the reservation will be complete.
Okay, let's try that one more time. How about we switch to the backup video?
Maybe it's because I'm the one paying.
That's right.
I'm known in Vegas. You want to give it another try? Like live?
Yeah, I can give it another try. Let's see. Hi, I'm trying to reserve dinner tonight. Can you help me?
I can certainly help with that. What type of cuisine are you looking for?
I'm looking for a steakhouse.
Vegas Vault is a superb steakhouse on the Strip. Are you interested in booking there?
That sounds great.
Perfect. To make a reservation, I'll need your name, the date, time, and the party size. You mentioned tonight, correct?
Yes. Let's go with Arthur Thompson as the name. 8 p.m. tonight, and it's a party of 5.
Mr. Thompson, please check your screen to confirm your reservation details and verify your phone number. The booking will be finalized after that.
Verified. Woo!
Wonderful. Your reservation for a party of 5 at Vegas Vault is confirmed. Is there anything else I can help you with?
No, that'll be all. Thank you. All right, so the lesson there is that don't ask Seba to be the person paying for your dinner.
I'm not the one paying.
All right, let's go back to the slides, please. Okay, so in this case, the developer didn't really need for the user to sign in. All that was really needed was a phone number to be verified. So that really shows the flexibility of phone number verification, where if you need the user to sign in, they can, and if they don't, just verify the phone number and use that. Let's see, sorry. So the other thing I want to mention here is that there's the enable test session method there. And for the enable test session, that allows us to not have to use the actual SIM. We can use the test session or enable the test session so that when the pop-up comes up, the verification is automatic. So you're just testing the phone number verification flow instead of having to actually use the SIM. Let's talk about agents. Coding agents can do amazing things, and vibe-coded apps are also amazing. I'm sure that many of you are vibe coding apps. Maybe some of you are vibe coding apps right now in the audience. Sometimes you want your demo, or sometimes you want to vibe code an app for a demo, or you want to actually have it deployed with real users and persistent data. Let's see how Firebase can help build full-stack apps with Google AI Studio. Here's a prompt that I am going to use to build my next viral application. It's going to be a crowdsourced emoji translation app for common phrases. As you can see in this prompt, and let me just read it out. So it creates an emoji translation app that allows you to submit common phrases in prose, and other users can submit emojis that best represent those phrases or represent them. Users also have the ability to vote on their favorite emoji translation. The app should be colorful and playful. So as you can see, there's no mention of databases or authentication anywhere in this prompt. The AI Studio agent recognizes the need for both database and authentication, and thus the need to set up Firebase. After entering my prompt, I'm presented with the dialog that you see here to set up my Firebase app. We recently announced Firebase as a native integration into Google AI Studio. With a single prompt, the Google AI Studio agent can proactively identify the need for persistent data and identity. After enabling Firebase, the agent will set up your Firebase project and connect your app to it. It will define the appropriate Firestore model based on your app's logic. The agent will also add sign-in using Firebase authentication. The agent will also draft strong security rules to ensure correct access to the database based on the specific actions that will take place within your application. Things like adding phrases or voting on a phrase. And for example, you can't add a phrase using another user's user ID. Here's a version of the app that I built earlier on. Users can sign in with Google. They can add phrases, emoji translations, and vote, which are all stored in Firestore and aligned with their user ID from Firebase authentication. The data is also secured using strong security rules written by the Google AI Studio agent.
All right, so as software development shifts into agentic execution driven by human ingenuity, we want to make sure that Firebase works however and wherever you build. And with that, we want to help you bring all the value and power of Google Cloud to your apps and to your end users.
Our goal is to help you thrive. Follow this code to check out our blog post and Code Labs to get your hands on the products and features you saw today. And with that, I thank you for attending.